Welcome. This is AllMinucOne Quick Shots. So, folks, just a little update on some election stuff. And if you weren't aware, yesterday the Pennsylvania governor had certified the elections. However, there was an injunction made by Sean Parnell, who was running for Congress in, I don't recall which district specifically, but I know it's the Allegheny County, Pittsburgh area, and whatever other counties it might hold. In any case, he was on Timcast IRL last night, which was a pretty good show. He was talking about the things that they were going after, mainly that the laws that they had passed were unconstitutional because amongst the Pennsylvania Constitution, there are certain regulations for how to run their elections. And there was a bill passed that essentially did not conform to the Constitution. Now, this happens quite often. Bills get passed, and unless there is some sort of legal challenge, the constitutionality is never questioned. It's just in place. And often the courts do not hold up the constitutionality of things. They'll make excuses. They'll throw things out, which is what's happened in PA to some degree. The judge said, well, these observers, they were able to observe. Doesn't matter how far they were. There's nothing in the law. And it's like, well, duh, but common sense would tell you that they need to be quite close to observe what the votes actually had to say. Now, Giuliani had a press conference today of sorts, or a hearing of sorts. It was not a legal hearing. It was just of the witnesses talking about the things going on. One of them specifically was talking about how they saw that there were votes tabulated with, I think he said, pink colored ink. And so the poll workers just fixed it. They just brought out new ballots and filled it in, but without complete observation. So there's a lot of shady stuff going on. And with all that said, there is this. Judge stops certification in Pennsylvania. Now, I'm using DuckDuckGo, which does sort of use Google, or you can do Google through DuckDuckGo. But I just want to show you really how the headlines are going here. So Bloomberg had this covered. Pennsylvania judge halts further vote certification steps. But then here is CBS News. Judge dismisses Trump campaign latest attempt to stop certification. That's 4 days ago. And then another one here. Looks like St. Louis local news. And then the top story is the CBS story. Why is that? That is not current. So here from the Daily Caller, hopefully this will come up for me. We have judge orders halt the certification of Pennsylvania election results after state already certified them, but judges can bring in injunctions. And one of the things that happened with Sean Parnell was he was saying that they tried to file, and magically the online filing system was down, and then suddenly the governor certified the elections, even with all of the craziness going on. This says a Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court judge ordered a halt to the certification of the state election results Wednesday, though it is unclear to what effect the order will have after the state certified its election results Tuesday. Commonwealth Judge Patricia McLaughlin, I guess, Macaulay, I don't know, handed down the order, which the Daily Caller has confirmed with the Commonwealth Court office. The order blocks certification as a result, to the extent that there remains further action to perfect the certification of results. Democratic Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf announced that the State Department certified President Joe Biden's win. I like how it says president-elect. He's not president-elect yet, folks. The actual certification is not complete until December 14th. If you recall, back in 2000, during the Bush v. Gore event, it did not get certified until December 8th, I believe. In everything that they're saying now, by the way, the mainstream media is saying now, there was no evidence of election fraud. There's no evidence. They were doing this song and dance last time, but in reverse. they were saying, oh, there's all kinds of evidence of election fraud. We saw this, of course, last year, or not last year, last presidential election as well in 2016, where they started talking about the Dominion voting machines and election fraud and how could Hillary have lost and blah, blah, blah. So it's always about, the Democrats getting the win, the Democrats being in control, the Democrats having the power, and if they do not, hissy fits all over. And this is why you get someone like Trump, who does not give a care about your feelings and your hissy fits, unlike the majority of Republicans who do nothing. They just slow down the process of the state becoming an overpowered, over-encumbering tyranny, which it already has, in any case, according to the purposes of the founders, let's say. So it says here, State Attorney General Josh Shapiro says the order does not affect Tuesday's certification and his office is ready to file an appeal. Good. All this will go up to the Supreme Court. I guess it's Macaulay. I don't know. McAuliffe. I cannot pronounce the name here, folks, because I'm dyslexic, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Order come in response to a petition from Republican member of the candidate and the state legislature who argue the state's mail-in voting statute violates the Pennsylvania Constitution, and Statute Act 77 was signed into law. This is what I was talking about. This is the Sean Parnell legal case, and this is the thing. They have to retrofit it because they did file or tried to file before it was certified, and it shouldn't have been certified. But again, they just want to, literally just want to win by any means necessary. And the media, being the propaganda arm, will gaslight you. Now, the Daily Caller's half decent because, well, they're more moderate / right leaning. And that means a lot. It means a ton. And when it comes to fair media, because I'm kind of okay, more or less, if the media wants to be leftist, as long as there is a balance. But you get this thing where if you just continue, every outlet continues to be an echo chamber of each other and trying to spit out the same narrative, where you have to understand that it's propaganda control. I was watching Yao Ming Park last night on Dave Rubin. I happen to like Dave Rubin's interview show. I actually met Dave Rubin once briefly. He was a very nice gentleman. Yao Ming was talking about how in North Korea, there's only one channel. There's only one newspaper. There's only one of everything. And she was saying she doesn't understand why there are so many choices here in the United States if they're just all going to echo the same story. Well, many of you out there will take that as a confirmation bias, perhaps, that, oh, well, they all say the same thing, therefore, no. The problem with today's media, other than it's just garbage propaganda, is essentially this. If you have a dissenting opinion, it's not allowed to be heard. Glenn Greenwald left The Intercept, a publication that he founded, because they were trying to edit his paper, his article about this election. The Democrats are authoritarian, folks. The left are authoritarians. They always have been. We can go back to the origin of the left-right divide and the French Revolution, and the revolutionaries were authoritarian. I will probably do some videos after the holiday of Maximilien Robespierre and the things that he said and believed. They worshipped reason, yet were completely irrational. They murdered tens of thousands of people, imprisoned hundreds of thousands of people, and all in the name of trying to bring democracy. Folks, democracy is nothing more than mob rule. So the Democrats want to use the word democracy so much and undermining our democracy. Well, undermining your oligarchy, perhaps, but not your democracy because you don't have one. We don't have one. We live in a constitutional republic. Very important. It is not a democracy in this country. It never has been. And hopefully it never will be, although we are continually going there. When we're really going toward is a monarchy, a brief monarchy of this of electors, and really a monarchy that has puppet presidents. That's more of an oligarch plutocracy. And all this is very, very sad for our freedoms. But in any case, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a pretty important story because things are not done yet, despite what you were being told and gaslit into believing. So, folks, with that, this has been all minus one quick shots, and I wish you all well.